It's the most anticipated movie of the year 2022, and PS1 is all set to hit the silver screens on the 30th of September. Joining us is the man of the moment himself, Mani. So thank you so much for talking to us. How are you feeling? Are you nervous, excited ahead of the release?
Everything.
This movie is going to take the audience back over 1,000 years to the Chola period. Can we expect a movie true to the book?
Yeah, it will be true to the book. They might, there's always a challenge of bringing a huge 5-part book into a 2-part movie. So there will be things that you'll kind of have to let go, but it will be true to the book.
Have you made some changes to it, some deviation from the book to match the expectation of the audience?
No, just to tell a story. All changes that were there were more to tell the story clearly.
There have been very few attempts to make a period era movie in Tamil too. Going forward, can we expect attempts to make such indigenous stories in Tamil cinema?
I'm sure a lot of people will do. I think today it's become a lot easier to do a period film because of the technology, because of VFX and things like that. So I'm sure that if audience are, welcoming as they are, then there's no reason why there should not be more big films.
How challenging was it for you to, script the entire film? Because, this is not something that's easy to do. And while scripting, what are the challenges that you faced? And did you have these crew members in mind? Did you, or were you finding it very difficult to zero in on these characters?
No, the script writing took time, but we're starting off with a very good plane. It's a pre-sold book. Right. It's got the structure completely. Most important, that got characters very well defined. So our job was to take from there and convert it, look at it in a cinematic fashion. So we had that head start, and it took time to do iterations after iteration to fine-tune it and to bring it into some kind of control and not leave anything that is the soul of the film, of the book. So that was the process. And in terms of cast, while we were writing halfway through, we started casting. So we had, maybe because we have done several iterations of the script, so we had enough to make tests and read scenes and do screen testing and things like that. So once they started falling into place, we would pull them in also to do the reading and fine-tune it.
Was there some extra learning curve for the actors to adapt to these characters?
I think they have to reinvent. I think they're actors. They do it all the time. So I think it's just a question of them getting used to a certain kind of Tamil, a certain kind of costume, and start getting into a mindset of being a prince, to know that you're a prince and things that you take for granted when you're a prince, and not necessarily say please and thank you every time, though you might mean it. So I think those kind of changes do happen, and I think it did take a few months. I think we had the lead time, so all of them could slowly get into it.
Rahman sir's music score, the audio releases, it's been a welcome hit. Everyone loves it. But was it a little challenging to do this, considering it's a period era film for Rahman sir, especially the background music?
No, it is more to finalize on the kind of music that we'll go for, and in the once that is being locked in, then it becomes easier. It is basically, I think it's true for anything, whether it's visual style or the audio style. Once you have a concept, then it's very easy to travel in it.
Is PS1 the toughest film so far for you?
Possibly, with pandemic thrown in, and it was the toughest.
Yours is the most interesting character, Vandiyathevan. Right. Tell us more about it.
So this is one character who actually narrates the story, or rather he's one who's traveling through the film and you get to know the story through him. So his eyes is the audience's eyes, and he's one person who gets to interact with almost all the characters in the film. And interestingly, this character is someone who is not a typical hero who always wins. He fumbles, he fails, and then he gets up and still he keeps pursuing. He's got his own side of humor, he's got his own ambitions. He's the last prince of his kingdom, which is already lost. So he still has that the royal blood in him, but nobody respects that. So he's somebody who claims his royalty and who has great ambitions for himself and for his kingdom, but he's very loyal to the Cholas. He's a his close friend to the crown prince, and he gives him a duty, and then he starts traveling. That's how the film starts. But like you said, he's a very interesting character because he's a ladies' man. He loves women, and the way he interacts with them, or the way he can charm them and get to know them, all very interesting parts to play in a film. And also he's a big warrior too. So I get to do action, I get to do romance, and I get to do comedy as well. Yeah.
This is also your mom's favorite character, isn't it?
That's what she said. People who have read the novel, and they all really love this character so much. And she used to say that in college, girls used to say, "I want to marry somebody like Vandiyathevan." That's how much people have loved this character, and that puts a lot of pressure on me automatically because it has been only an imagination for all this 50 or 60 years now. But finally, there's a face on that character, and I really hope people like him, like me, as Vandiyathevan, and we've all given our best to it. And Manisa, the way he's designed this character, or the way he interacts with Nambi, the other Jairam sir, and how he befriends Ponniyin Selvan, all that is written so well in the novel. So enliving it, and
Did you read the book?
yes, of course. So I mean, bringing it to life is it's a pure joy. It's a pure joy.
And is this by far the most challenging role? Because you've done so many different characters, being a rustic hero, to a chocolate boy, to a comedian hero as well. You've done comedy well. That's one of the toughest genres that I would say. Is this by far the most challenging role that you've ever played?
Very responsible, I would say, rather than tough. Because you're trying to play a man who lived 1,000 years back in 10th century. So I do not know how people behaved or how people spoke. Were they smart? Were they sharp? And then had to go and read history and find out how was common life in 10th century. Then you see there is a lot of foreign trade happening. And especially Cholas, they had interaction with all the kingdoms from the north. So they were very cosmopolitan. So I understood he's somebody really sharp. So I need not be innocent. And then trying to figure out whether I can smile or how would he behave. Fixing all that was quite a challenge, definitely a challenge.
You've done so many roles, but this is the first time you're doing the role of a princess. So how has the experience been for you?
It's a triple bonus, I would say. First of all, it's Ponniyin Selvan. Secondly, it is Mani sir making Ponniyin Selvan. And third, I get to do something I've never done in 20 years of my career. So I'm so excited. I call this film my triple bonus film because it's like the best package I could have asked for.
Is this the toughest role that you've ever played? Because you've been acting for so many decades.
I wouldn't call it the toughest, definitely not. I wouldn't actually signify a role being tough as such, but in terms of, say, prep and probably just getting everything perfect out there on set, maybe it was a bit challenging, but it's a challenge I really loved.
Was it difficult to speak Sendamar? Because, for you, it must have been tough because bringing out the emotions plus, coming out with these dialogues.
Yeah.
Was any extra preparation needed, extra learning curve for you?
See, for all of us, in fact, because on day one when we met Mani sir and when he signed us for the roles, we were all given a bound script and another script with just our scenes, with our dialogues. So I would, again, you know what, it was different for me because Tamil is something I'm not grown up with. I'm used to very regular Tamil, which we speak at home and elsewhere. So this was very different. But what do I say? We had about 6 months of prep time. So the more you keep reading it, kind of get used to the lingo, and it's, oh God, it's such a beautiful language. I just wish that people spoke more of Tamil. That's how I feel like today after doing the film. But I think challenges like this is when you actually look forward to getting on set.
How is it working with Aishwarya Rai? Because, one of the best scenes in the film is the scene between the two of you.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
So I was fortunate enough, day one I met her. We had a small scene together on day one before the major scene. And she's so beautiful. I mean, I don't have to describe how she looks on the outside, but she's so warm and one of the most hardworking actors I've worked with because she's sorted. Her Tamil, which she spoke, is beautiful. She's tip-top always. She looked gorgeous in the film. And since she's not intimidating at all, it was very easy to work with her.
Thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you. Thanks so much.